Ho, 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 ho. Santa came to play. Ponies don't have no games. They have nothing. Ain't nothing to play. Still begging for them Xbox games to drop in 2025. Cause you people are wasting your time. Man, is what is wrong with you? What are you gonna do? All these ponies are escaping all their stables, 'cause they have nothing for you. Better go and buy an Xbox for your children for Christmas. It's better. Woke up one morning and Sony was great. Then they decided to put their games on PC day and date. Now we have no exclusives and we have no games. We have nothing on our platforms, but we'll beg for Xbox games. And the console war, and the console war, end it now, end it now. And the console.
Right here, and today we're going to talk about the future of video games, but not just the idea of typical console stuff, right? This isn't just about the idea of the Xbox Series X versus the PlayStation 5, because I think everybody can kind of admit that this generation has been a lot more chill than we perhaps hoped.
Yeah, it's been straight up garbage, but yeah, for some reason, you ponies are still thinking that Sony's gonna turn around everybody. Bro, the generation is over, man. By the time that Intergalactic, whatever, Wasteland comes out, because you know the game is gonna be garbage, you're really not gonna have anything to play, bro. 2027 to wait for a game, for a platform that you picked up in 2020? Let that sink in, ponies. You waited 7 years just so you can see the next Naughty Dog game, and you people don't have a problem with it? And here we go with Grand Theft Auto. See, this is all they play, man, third party. You know, the same reason as to why anybody picks up these platforms in the first place.
Sony exclusives.
Oh, here we go. That's not an exclusive. That is Grand Theft Auto 5. That game has been on probably every device ever since the PS3 and Xbox 360. Please don't tell me you're using this game as an argument.
Putting stuff out, but in my opinion, too much of a drip feed between the good releases. But in general, it feels like when it comes to just raw console power, things have gotten a bit stale. People are getting a bit bored of this current idea of consoles. But I think things are about to change. I think things are about to pivot to handhelds.
Oh, wow, that's funny, because when Gamester said that Gamester with another W, you guys were still holding on to the concept of consoles. We told you. Remember when I told you guys that consoles won't exist in the same fashion that you guys remember? They're going to be based more on PC architecture. These are the things that have been happening right underneath your noses, but yet you guys thought it was a war between Xbox and PlayStation. Bro, these companies are finding ways to make their games more accessible and playable to everybody. I don't understand how people think that Sony's not doing the same thing Microsoft's doing. You can play PlayStation games through the ROG Ally. You can play it through the Steam Deck. That is playing PlayStation games through multiple platforms. That is the definition of third party. You know, but they're not putting it on Xbox. It doesn't matter. They still put their game on Nintendo Switch. Like, that doesn't make sense, man. For you people to keep saying that Sony's still holding onto this concept of exclusivity just shows you that you people still living in the 90s, man. Grow up.
Now, let me be clear. This entire video is not about the idea that consoles are irrelevant, but I think the idea of...
Well, I mean, essentially you are, because you're saying that it's shifting towards something else. I mean, like I told you guys before, the Nintendo Wii U was Nintendo's last traditional home console until they shifted towards portable gaming, which was always very successful to them, right? Now we'll probably never see a home console from Nintendo ever again.
Handhelds coming back, the way that we've had previous console wars back in the day.
Oh my, here we go with this, man. He pulling out the Game Gear and the Game Boy.
Where you have, Game Boy versus the Game Gear.
Bro, nobody was doing this, man. The reason why the Sega Game Gear failed is because it had it was like 6 batteries in comparison to the Game Boy would too, but the Game Gear was definitely far much better. And then also Pokemon single-handedly saved that portable, you know. But like I said, man, I mean, this is not a war. Like, what are you talking about?
People talking about the idea of who's got the best experience, not just at home, but on the go. I think this is going to decide.
How come this argument didn't come out when the Nintendo Switch came out? It seems like you guys are only using this argument because you guys have nothing to talk about. You guys know that the PlayStation 5 is boring. You know it. Because now all of a sudden you guys want to say that it's shifting towards portable gaming. And the funny thing is, I think I brought this up before anybody in this community. And now y'all gonna run with it. Oh, you're gonna sit there and take this small content creators' ideas and use it as your own. But the real people know that I've been telling people that consoles in the traditional way, in the sense that we know them, won't exist in that same fashion. This is why I try to tell you ponies that there's no console war going on. So now you know that PlayStation 5 sucks. Now you want to shift it. Oh, maybe it's because Sony's trying to do it in preparation for a portable. Bro, the last portable y'all had was the Vita and that failed. Really? You really want Sony to go that direction? They'd probably be in a worse predicament than they are now.
Who wins the next console war? But
Nintendo. Nintendo has won the console war in 2 different generations. They won it back in 2017, and they're probably going to continue to win that when the Switch 2 comes out. I mean, what war are you talking about? Because if this is if we're talking about portable wars, then Nintendo's already won. Nintendo has won so bad that even the Switch is doing better than the PS5.
let me explain what I mean. Hi, hope you're having a great day where you can actually play cell phone games on a fancy controller.
And what's crazy, you know what's even more crazy? And like I said, I don't really care for the dude Dark 1985, but he was also another one that advocated for the backbones. Y'all remember? Let's not front here. See, sometimes casuals understand the market more than the hardcore. I'm not saying he's a hardcore, but I'm saying they don't have a fanboy. Well, he does, but I'm just saying. I just think he does it to create a different conversation, right? But like I said before, casuals' mindsets are very important because they're the ones that help shape the market. So for all the people that laughed at Dark, oh, look at that, you stupid for buying a backbone for your phone. Nobody plays games like that, man. Nobody want to play games on the Fire Stick. Well, according to Dreamcast guy, that's what people want to do now. It is what it is. That's why he got his phone in his hand, a pretty dirty one at that, but still.
But I think what people actually want is a proprietary device. They want something like the PlayStation.
It's not about the device. See, you people are still caught up on the device. It's about the ecosystem. Do you think most people that play on Steam picked up the Steam Deck because they don't have a library? They probably already had a library where they could transfer their games to the Steam Deck to play majority of their games. The ecosystem is far more important than the hardware.
Portal, again, they want something where you can play a game.
How come you didn't pull up the Vita? How come you put up the PSP that came out back in the early 2000s? Oh yeah, he's got to put up the PSP, guys, because he don't want to tell people how bad the Vita was.
That installs, that plays, that has exclusives. People miss that.
Nobody cares about exclusives.
Well, here's the.
Oh, here we go. Now they're starting it, guys. The handheld wars.
Handheld subreddit where people talk about what they're playing, what they're hacking, what they're enjoying right now.
PlayStation Portable 3.
Discussing the idea
Wow.
that it is interesting that coming up soon, everybody is about to have just an option to play things handheld.
Also, too, I'm going to be honest with y'all. This is another way to stall out the longevity of these consoles because more than likely Microsoft's going to have a portable that's probably more on the graphical power, depending on when they release it, on the graphical power of the Series S, which is the same thing that you guys say is holding gaming down. Like I said, all this is just to keep what's going on here relevant. Y'all don't understand, bro. We're not going to see these new consoles the way you guys think. If this is the type of market that these companies are willing to pursue, then that means hardware, we're going to have some severe hardware limitations. Because essentially what's going to happen, yeah, an Xbox Series S portable would be good in the hands or whatever, but come on, in 2030, technology is going to further advance that. You got to remember, the Xbox Series S came out in 2020. And now you guys are going to play a handheld version, which is pretty awesome, in like 2028 or something like that. That's ridiculous. That means we haven't really evolved Like, what happened to the days when they dropped the PSP and the PSP was like the same graphics or similar to the PS2? What happened to those days? What happened to the days where the Game Gear was essentially a Sega Master System in your hands when we still had the 16-bit Genesis? What happened to those days? Now we sitting here, essentially what they're doing is they're taking the Xbox Series S level of hardware and they're essentially pushing it for far more years than it should be. But since it's handheld, they're going to use that to justify that. I'm telling you, man, gaming is trash, bro. It is trash, bro. For the people that think that they're going to have the advancements in technologies like they used to, companies are not willing to do it. All they're doing is stalling the inevitable.
A new, fresh, next gen version of handhelds. There's talks about the Xbox handhelds, the PlayStation Portal 3, whatever the next version of the PSP is going to be. Obviously, we've had the PSP.
No, the next version of the PS Vita.
PS Vita.
Why y'all acting like the Vita never existed? Because the PS Vita was was the successor, well, I should say the failure of the PSP.
And obviously there's the Portal right now. We don't know what this is. The Nintendo Switch 2 and the Steam Deck 2. Now, I wanted to break these down one by one and kind of give my thoughts about how I feel about that. It does kind of come down to the idea of playing stuff handheld, about not just
no, because that's not what people are complaining about. A lot of people that played Black Myth Wukong played it comfortably at their desktops on their PC. What are you talking about, bro? You act like you know the market, but you don't know anything. Like, what are you talking about? It's accessibility. It's being able to have access to your games no matter where you are. And portable does help alleviate that. I don't think if Microsoft comes out with an Xbox portable that it's going to succeed just because it's a portable. I think it's going to be successful because people will have access to their existing catalog on top of playing it through PC or Xbox. It's the ecosystem behind the portable that's important, not the portable itself, because you could already do that already, you big dummy. How do you not know this? You could already do this already with the Steam Deck, you big fool. And yet y'all say, oh, the Steam Deck didn't sound like the PlayStation 5 did. Well, there you go. So clearly portable gaming ain't the future of gaming. It's the ecosystem. That's what's important.
To replicate better and better graphics, but
well, how are you going to replicate better graphics when the next Xbox portable is more likely going to have Xbox Series specs? You know, the same specs that you're saying that holds the gaming industry back. Bro, you guys just make this awfully too easy. Like, I don't understand. And if Microsoft does do that, then that means all they're doing is stalling the inevitable. They just push the same console into a port. Very similar to what Nintendo did with the Wii U. The Switch is about the same specs, a little bit more powerful, but not much, as the Wii U in portable hands. So essentially what you're saying, that Microsoft is going to put a Series S, they might do two versions, who knows, but a Series S portable, 2027, 28, even 6, whatever you guys think is going to come out, and yet they're still using low-end hardware. They just put it in a portable form. That's it. They didn't change anything, bro. Y'all acting like, oh, they're going to make a portable and they're going to be more powerful than the Series X. I don't think that's what they're doing. They're stalling the inevitable, and I can't stand to see gaming the way it is, bro. This is why I love Sega, because Sega was the one. So it shows you, Sega was the one. Get the hat off your head, please. Was the one pushing gaming the way it was supposed to. Even though they didn't have the money like Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony, but they pushed gaming to new realms. Now we're in 2024 and companies want to still use old PS5, Xbox Series S hardware. You're like, well, I thought you was excited for the hit. I am. But you have to understand, where's the advancements in technology that we once seen before from going from a PS2 to a PS3? Like, the more and more we go through the generations, the less and less improvements we have been seeing.
Feel different. And I do feel like a handheld version of the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox would feel different.
Well, that would also impact the sales of the PlayStation 5 already, so more than likely Sony is not going to do that. Microsoft doesn't care because they don't care if you play their games on any device, which means that they'll make more money based off if it's Steam Deck, even their own portable. They're going to make money regardless.
Now, I keep seeing people post about the fact that even if you're not really plugged into the handheld market, things are actually coming out. There is new stuff like some of these Steam Deck knockoffs, the Lenovo portable market now for decades. The fact that it's been 20 years since the PSP came out, the PSP Go, the PlayStation Vita, which, God, I love that thing so much.
But it failed. I thought you didn't like failures. Hold on, that's funny. The PlayStation Vita sold far worse than the Xbox Series X and S, but you loved it. Hold on, let's listen to that. Let's listen.
Portable market now for decades. The fact that it's been 20 years since the PSP came out, the PSP Go, the PlayStation Vita, which, God, I love that thing so much.
You love it so much, but it failed. So how about I just discredit everything you said about that? Now, I like the Vita personally. I think the Vita was a very underrated platform. But if we go back to everything you say about Xbox, then nobody should play the Vita. The Vita's trash and it's garbage, right? Because it sold. And remember, listen, the hardware shells, the hardware shells, the hardware shells. You know, let's bring those up, guys. The Vita was trash because the hardware sales say it. That's why. And on top of the fact that the software sales was also bad. But does it mean that it doesn't have good quality games? See, this is coming from a real gamer's perspective, okay? Like I said, I'm not trying to run with these narratives, but I'm just trying to tell you guys, how would you feel if somebody bashed a platform you enjoyed because they didn't sell well? Neither of these things did well. The PlayStation T, I have one of those too. It did not do well, but I have it, I've enjoyed it. It could have been a lot better, but like I said, the Vita was trash. I mean, if you really look at it from the PlayStation Portable, it was garbage.
The PlayStation TV, and now most recently, the PlayStation Portal.
Yeah, and if you notice, it's getting far worse. You have the PlayStation Portable, you have the PlayStation Portable Go, and then you have the PlayStation Vita. And you're starting to notice it's getting worse for Sony.
Is a streaming device that lets you play your PlayStation 5 on the go. Now, the reason this is interesting to me is that I do think everybody is currently making a device. There have been multiple leaks about it. It's just that, but even more so. A slightly bigger screen, slightly better graphics, and a new catalog.
I think you guys gotta lower your expectations, bro. I'm telling you, bro, the Nintendo Switch is not gonna be that impressive that you people keep saying it, bro. I'm telling you, Nintendo's gonna rob y'all with Tears of Kingdom 60 FPS, $70 again. I'm telling you, bro, these companies do not see the appeal to take the hardware. And this is kind of where exclusives is important to gaming. Because I think a lot of you fanboys think that exclusives are important to gamers because we play it and they don't. That is not what exclusives mean for gamers. Let me explain when I say that exclusives are important for gaming. Back then, when Nintendo did something like Donkey Kong Country and Sega looked at it like, whoa, okay, we got to make a game with higher resolution and more artifacts and more effects on screen and, put out Vector Man and make it exclusive to make them get the Genesis. That is why exclusives was important. It's so funny that you fanboys think that exclusives was important because people didn't play the game, when no, it was because the companies was competing with one another. These companies are not competing with one another because they all hustling y'all like a bunch of dummies. Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony. They're hustling y'all. They're stalling the inevitable. This is what they're doing. There's no competition. So when that girl made a video talking about, I don't like Sega and how they went against Nintendo. Well, guess what? That is what made Nintendo better. You guys compete more than the companies. All these companies are doing is milking y'all for every single dollar that y'all got while giving y'all low-end hardware and low-end games.
Stuff like Pokemon, Zelda, Mario, right?
Come on, man.
They're going to hit the ground running because of the already existing install base. Think about it like PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 2. The PlayStation 1 was incredibly popular, but suddenly the PlayStation 2 comes out and goes, okay, it's playing every single one of the PlayStation 1 games you already own, plus a big batch of PlayStation 2 games.
No. That's not the reason why people upgraded to the PlayStation 1 to 2. It was because of a DVD player. That's why when you look at the software sales for a lot of these PlayStation 2 games, they didn't sell very well. I mean, they sold very well for the time because of the budgets back then, but they're not selling like how some games sell now.
PlayStation 2 is basically the best-selling system all time. I think maybe the Nintendo Switch recently passed.
The Nintendo Switch is by far the best-selling in hardware and it's the best overall console. It's the console that companies will look up to say that this is what we want from us. Buying our games, buying our hardware, supporting us for our multiplayer, not the competitors. Nintendo Switch is the perfect example of what Sony and Microsoft want for their own ecosystem and platforms.
PlayStation 2 in lifetime sales, making it now Nintendo Switch literally, measurably the most high-selling console of all time. I think there is a chance that they're going to replicate that magic, going from hundreds of millions of consoles and games sold with the Nintendo Switch.
But even then, the Nintendo Switch cheated because it's not really a home console. It's really a portable. You see, which has always been successful for Nintendo. I've told people this long time ago. All Nintendo's going to do is merge their home console market with their portable market, and they're going to create the Nintendo Switch, which that's what they did.
Going into the Nintendo Switch 2, the adoption rate is going to be insane. Going back to the PlayStation Portable 3, as this person called it here, I think this is an interesting idea, but
Sony's not going to do it.
Idea is, it says apparently
because Sony's not going to get that type of money, which you're not understanding. Sony's going to lose a lot of money if they bring out a product like this.
Have an ability to play PlayStation 5 games in a downgraded version. It's going to have your full access to your PlayStation 4 library, which is great to me. But a lot of people are basically saying, okay, but how can it actually keep up? I mean,
there's already devices that do that already.
PlayStation does have the advantage of a game library. There's thousands of good PS4 games. There's hundreds of good PlayStation 5 games.
That's not true.
Party, first party, Astrobot, Metaphora Fantasio, Final Fantasy.
That's not first party.
C7 Rebirth, right?
That's going to be dropping on Xbox, and it's also on PC.
Sony has a lot,
which is also already playable. You know, this is what I try to explain it. See, this is why you guys notice the hardware is not the important aspect of gaming. It's the ecosystem.
Good games on their system. Being able to play even a big...
Because y'all like, well, you say the Xbox, I can play Xbox game on my Steam Deck, but you say people go buy the portable. Because of the ecosystem. You buy the portable, Xbox portable, you transfer all the stuff from your Xbox to the portable. It makes sense. It's no different than a person that's playing on PC that has Steam and they buy a Steam Deck. They don't have to buy games for it. They're just carrying their games over. What do you people don't understand? It's not the portable that makes the man. It's the ecosystem. It's like you guys can't get this through your thick heads.
That on a portable device where you can actually install it and play it.
And how is Sony going to make money off a portable if the whole purpose of the portable is to not essentially buy games because you're just using the same games you purchased? Now, Microsoft don't care because it's just helping expand in their Game Pass Ultimate subscription service. But for you guys, what money is Sony getting if you buy the portable? Let's say PlayStation Portable 3 for $600. You just take the games you already have on your PS5 and transfer them digitally. If anything, they're going to single-handedly destroy physical gaming right there. It
has a good battery life, if it has even halfway decent graphics, if it's got a good screen, the way the operating system or the Valve operating system. This is one of the things that has been kicked around publicly and in leaks, is that perhaps we might start to see basically Steam Deck 2, an official Microsoft handheld that isn't being made by Microsoft.
Yep. What did I tell y'all?
But plays Microsoft games.
Games still with another
there
W.
There talks about the idea
Microsoft has already won.
Microsoft sees an extra avenue, specifically with stuff like the Lenovo Legion. The fact that you can play these games natively at 60 frames a second, 800p, this is pretty good. Even on power saving mode, this is pretty dang good. Strategies might be,
let's hear it,
is that both Valve and Xbox are kind of kicking around the idea of letting other people use their storefront, use their code.
And you know what that means? That when Microsoft makes their portable and they work it with Valve with Steam, what are games being ported to, guys? Steam. PlayStation games are being ported to Steam, which also would mean that PlayStation games will be functional on a Microsoft very own product. Exclusives is over, buddy. You just exposed yourself. You just exposed that the exclusives don't matter. Like I said, we've been saying this for the longest time, and you still holding on to this console war garbage. And the day when it happens, I can't wait to laugh in your face.
Use their idea. So anybody with a powerful console, anybody that's trying to put out a big, juicy device, somebody like Lenovo, if the next generation of handhelds is about kind of going third party, even with
did you just say that? Did he just say that? GameStop with another W, bro. We have won. I told you, our talking points have won. It's over. Let's go.
a version of the Xbox that is handheld and plays Xbox games and has Xbox Game Pass and actually syncs to your current account, so it'll still have cloud saves, it'll still have exclusives, it'll still have everything you have on Game Pass installable or playable, but Microsoft directly will not technically be making it. There is talks that Valve is also sort of kicking around this idea of your version of the Steam Deck until they get around to making their own version of the Steam Deck too.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense because they don't have to take losses on hardware.
I think consoles are still fun. I still love playing.
Oh, just admit it. You know it's over, bro. You know it's over. I've told you guys, games still with another W. They know the console war is over. And that's why they're shifting this new narrative to, it's going to be handheld consoles now versus each other. Well, guess what? The Switch 2 has already won.
5,
it's already been declared the winner.
Xbox, but to a lesser degree. But the idea of playing those things portably, the idea of being able to play my current Steam library on a big old juicy device with a good battery life that plugs into my TV and docks and lets me continue those experiences and play it on my PC or automatically carrying those saves back
Let's
and
hear
forth. That to me sounds more than anything else like the future of gaming.
Ooh, games still with another W, man. I told you guys, bro. I told you guys I was going to win this argument. This man is in shambles, bro. Get that PlayStation shirt off, man.
People are getting a bit bored. Maybe that's an extreme word. I do feel like people are getting bored of just raw graphics. I think
it's not even, bro. What do you mean raw graphics, bro? Half your games are running at 800p. What is you talking about, bro?
It's such an amount of photo.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's so realistic, right? Look at that. Oh, that's photo. What are you talking about, bro? That looks like a refined N64 game.
Okay, yeah, the new trailer for another Naughty Dog game has crazy facial expression and all the perfect
CGI.
Programming for a character putting on their jacket, and it looks so completely
CGI.
realistic.
That ain't none of that was
that
gameplay.
Stuff is cool, but I think people are getting to a point where they want stuff that does feel different, that does actually give a vibe that's not just, hey, here is what you've already had for decades, but slightly different, slightly better. If Valve lets other people use the Steam OS, if we start
That's funny because when Microsoft allows people to play their games, y'all say it's over.
Y'all
respect Valve, but y'all don't respect Microsoft, even though they both have very similar visions.
Slate of Steam Decks, a whole slate of Microsoft handhelds, a whole batch of Game Pass devices to compete directly with the Nintendo Switch, years ahead of the PlayStation Portable 3. I think Sony is going to get completely blown out. I think Sony is probably overconfident right now.
See,
I think
admitted
Sony thinks, okay, we've got such a big market lead. There's not a big rush. I'm not saying that Sony...
See, the problem is, I'm going to explain it in my way because he's not really clarifying it the way it's supposed to be said. The problem is that Sony, and he just admitted it, that Sony's dead. So is PlayStation dead then? Is PlayStation dead? Because this same vision that you're talking about is the vision I already see already. PlayStation has no way to be able to expand because nobody wants to buy nobody's got to buy a PlayStation Portable, guys, because nobody cares about the exclusive games. Nobody's going to buy the PlayStation Portable if you can play third-party games on other devices, like you said. This is the problem. Y'all can sit there and say, oh, well, nobody's going to buy an Xbox Portable. I can give you the reasons. You have access to Game Pass Ultimate. You'll have access to games that you've already had. Well, PlayStation, yeah, we can do that too. But they're third party. People will pick up an Xbox Series Portable